Governor Newsom signed essential legislation to protect all of our rights in the age of AI. Today, I am proud to introduce a number of legislators, union leaders, and small business owners who will share what needs to be done in order to ensure California's entertainment industry workforce and our economy continues to thrive in the months and years ahead. As a performer who comes from a multi-generational showbiz family and a native Angelino, I see how essential it is for those in my profession that we're able to work and make dignified livelihoods. There was a time when our beautiful state sustained generations of not only working actors, but broadcasters, journalists, radio personalities, and a wide variety of entertainment professionals whose livelihoods depend on the prosperous media industry. And my colleagues, these creatives, these storytellers, these informers and professionals deserve better than scraping by to survive. They dedicate their lives to their professions, often risking their financial stability while facing countless rejections and career setbacks. My fellow entertainment industry folks deserve what all California workers deserve: to thrive. Because when we thrive, the rest of our economy does too. As other states and countries aggressively compete for industry investment, we must take action to prevent and protect and expand opportunities for film and television work to stay in California. We must commit ourselves to ensuring that California remains the global leader in media. Look, a lot of us here in Los Angeles have been hit hard by wildfires, a global health crisis, a once-in-a-generation strike. Cue the locusts. Yes, we are resilient, but we certainly could benefit from Sacramento giving us a helping hand. Not a handout, but opportunities to work so that we can rebuild our houses as well as our future. And my fellow actor and co-chair of our National Government Affairs and Public Policy Committee, Jason George, who's here today, he believes this as well, and he is fighting passionately and spearheading here. We're fighting together a platform to those working to modernize California's film and television tax credit program. Today, we are here to support the introduction of two bills, SB 630 and AB 1138, that will protect and bring back entertainment jobs that are leaving California and ensure that California remains competitive and a leader in the industry. Now, I'd like to welcome and introduce the author of SB 30, Senator Ben Allen, who serves on the Film Commission, and as chair of the Joint Legislative Committee on the Arts. Please welcome Senator Ben Allen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Julie. Thank you for your leadership during these difficult past few years as we've really worked hard to make sure that Hollywood continues to be a place that's driven by people, by real people telling real stories about the human experience. Let me just thank my great friends from the State Assembly who are here. I want to thank Mayor Karen Bass for her steadfast leadership on this issue for many, many years, including back when she was the Speaker of the Assembly. Our wonderful Entertainment Union Coalition that's represented here on the stage, the Writers Guild of America West, SAG-AFTRA for, of course, hosting this wonderful event, the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, I know Scott's here, the Motion Picture Association, who's here as well, our wonderful studios, and also the small entertainment businesses that are the lifeblood of so much of the work that happens here in Hollywood. So since 2009, the state film and television tax credit has created nearly 200,000 jobs and $26 billion in statewide economic activity. A lot of it here in LA, but much of it all over the state. But we know that the program has been oversubscribed year after year. It doesn't apply to many projects that could benefit from the program. We now have all these other jurisdictions that are stepping in aggressively with their own incentive programs, trying to draw away production and make California's program less effective. There are now 38 competing programs in the US, 36 in Europe. And I think one of the many things that we're worried about here is I think in the past, our infrastructure always saw us through. we always knew that there wasn't enough infrastructure in all these other places, but that's starting to build out in a lot of places around the world. And now you have places like New York and the UK and Georgia that are not just continuing their programs, but they're enhancing them in all sorts of ways that will make them more effective, more usable for projects. Now, something like 77% of the projects that are unable to secure a tax credit here in the state end up going elsewhere. These are productions that they wanted to do the work here. They wanted to do the work here. And nearly all of them, when they don't get the credit, end up leaving. And this has led to a loss of nearly $1 billion in production spending, which equates to lost jobs, lost economic gains. It leads to so many of these wonderful people having to live out of corporate housing or lousy places all over the world, just trying to do their work, leaving their families back home. It breaks up families. It's such a lost opportunity given all that we know that we have here and the fact that we should be doing the work here. So I've been hearing so many of these disheartening stories, tens of thousands of workers unable to find jobs during low production. And we now have a great opportunity here to reignite this critical industry in California. Tenemos una gran oportunidad de actuar ahorita para revivir esta industria crítica para el estado de California. And with that, I'd like to hand the microphone over to my good friend, my partner on the Assembly side, who also represents this wonderful community, Rick Chavez-Sabur. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Allen. It's great to be with you. We were pleased and excited to learn about Governor Newsom's proposal to increase the tax credit to $750 million annually, which will greatly relieve the oversubscription to the program. However, let me be clear, increasing the dollars in the credit program will not, by itself, bring back the thousands of jobs that we are losing to Georgia, Canada, New York, Australia, and now Texas and even Nevada and other states. That's why we've introduced AB 1138 with my joint author, Assemblymember Bryan, and SB 630. They're two bills that will go hand in hand and will be joined at the hip as we move forward. And
It's the studio.
yes, it's another state trying to lure some jobs out. And you know, these two bills will include program changes to assure that California's program is fully and truly competitive with those other states and countries. Senator Becker, Assembly Members Bryan, Schultz, Caloza, Harabidi, and I are laser focused on one goal. It's jobs, 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 jobs. Good union jobs and jobs in the small businesses that support the industry. We know that we must modernize the program. These bills are not about red carpets or premieres. They're about the writers, the actors, the accountants, the production assistants, the grips, the camera operators, the set and lighting designers and crews, the costume designers, the journey persons and carpenters and laborers, and many others who are unemployed and underemployed as we hit this, as our entertainment industry has hit the ditch recently. It's about giving a lifeline to small businesses who support the industry and who are struggling. It's about jump-starting this industry to grow again so that we can provide new opportunities for good jobs to those who want to enter apprenticeship programs, like our friends from the Anti-Recidivism Coalition who are with us today. Folks who previously earned good livings in the film and television industry are hurting, with the triple whammy of COVID luring away of jobs by our competitors due to more lucrative and easier access credits, and now the wildfire production is really down, and the numbers are starkly down, and they prove it. And that means folks are not working or are only earning a fraction of what they did a few years ago. And many who are working are having to travel to Georgia or Canada, disrupting their lives and families and resulting in a spin-off of benefits to small businesses also being exported out of the state. The stakeholders are about to begin negotiations on the details of the program, and I'm optimistic that the stakeholders are extremely close because folks on all sides know that we can't wait to stem the job loss in California. We are all aligned. This is what I can tell you about AB 1138 and SB 630. The bills will modernize the program components to make sure that California's program is competitive and helps California retain and bring back high-quality jobs that are largely union, and to give a lifeline and grow industry that is serving the small businesses. I can tell you that the effective rate of the programs will increase to a formula that is competitive with those states and countries who are luring our jobs away. I can tell you that we will be expanding the kinds of productions that qualify for the program, again, focusing on those productions which we are losing and that provide the best jobs. At its height in 2016, the film and TV industry created almost 216,000 jobs and billions of dollars in production spending. Today, only a fraction of those jobs remain, and we need to bring them back. Those who've had concerns about our bills so far believe that this takes money away from other programs. That could not be further from the truth. The ROA on the existing program is significant and shows its great success. Every dollar we spend results in $24 in economic output. For every dollar of tax credit, we bring in over $1.07 in tax revenues. And that doesn't count the tax revenues from the indirect jobs and the multiplier effect of those jobs in our economy. That's why Georgia and New York and now Nevada and other states are doubling down on their film tax credit programs, because it both helps their workers and helps their state tax coffers too. The relatively small size and lack of competitive features of the current program has resulted in a loss of $7.7 billion in economic activity, 28,000 jobs, and $2.6 billion in labor income. Think of the families we will help and the new tax revenues that we will generate if we're able to modernize the program to make it competitive. I would like to thank Mayor Bass, who is with us here today, who's been a champion of the California Film Tax Credit since its inception. I also want to thank Assembly Members Bryan and Schultz and Harabedian for their work and dedicated advocacy for these bills. And of course, I want to thank the representatives of the Union Coalition, our labor partners, the small businesses, and the workers who are with us today, because this is what this is about. We are doing this for those folks. With that, I'd like to introduce the joint co-author of the Assembly bill, Assemblymember Bryan.
Thank you, Assemblymember Zbur, Assemblymember Harabedian, Assemblymember Schultz, my powerful and incredible colleagues in the Assembly, and Senator Ben Allen, my neighbor to the west. Thank you all for coming to the 55th Assembly District. The 55th Assembly District is driven by the entertainment industry. We are the home of Amazon Prime Studios, the home of Fox Studios, the home of Sony Studios, the home of SAG-AFTRA's headquarters, the home of the Creative Artists Agency, and so much more. It is an economic driver for all of us who live here. And I'm here today for primarily two reasons. One is because the industry has been offered to leave California, and we won't let that happen without a fight. There are too many lives who depend on it, too many Teamsters, too many IATSE workers, too many folks and small businesses who benefit when production happens in their neighborhood, and that leads me to the second reason I'm here. If I can take a point of personal privilege, I recently saw One of Them Days, shot by Issa Rae and produced by Denise Davis. The entire film tells a story in the jungles. If you don't know where the jungles are, look them up. Right by my house. That Church's Chicken is on Crenshaw Boulevard and 43rd. That's a story that needs to be told. It's a story that deserves to be told. And I would argue stories like that take place in communities that are often forgotten and unseen are a public good. That's why we have to make this investment. It's about putting people back to work who need the jobs that have been displaced. It's about getting new folks into these opportunities, and I want to thank my brother Scott Budnick for being here. We've got to get formerly incarcerated folks on these working crews. We've got to get unhoused folks, livable wage jobs in the industry. We've got to get former foster youth jobs in the industry. We've got to bring diversity of California to California's rooted, home, powerful entertainment industry, and we're going to do all those things. But we can't expect the industry to do that alone. As I mentioned earlier, this is a public good. It's a service worth fighting for. And I'm here with my colleagues to fight for it. But I also wouldn't be here if it wasn't for somebody who's been championing this effort for years, long before I was in office, and now as the current mayor of Los Angeles. She's convened an entertainment council. She has centered the needs of California and Los Angeles's dominant industry. She knows how powerful it is to tell a story. Because if you're not there to tell the stories get told about you, and they're often inaccurate. I want to thank her for her courage and her leadership and her dedication, and for bringing us all together to fight for this with you, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
Thank you. Thank you, Assemblymember Bryan and my other colleagues from the state legislature. After having left the state legislature, I just have so much respect for your leadership and what you're able to do. You make us proud. So the entertainment industry is about jobs and is about businesses, and it is one of the foundations of our economy here. And I think for many years now, we have taken the industry for granted. And if you think about it, once upon a time, we had an aerospace industry. I remember in 2009, when we worked on the tax credit, I was very proud to do that along with Assemblymember Paul Krikorian at the time. And then we were worried about Toronto. Who talks about Toronto now? It was before there was an industry in Georgia and New York and all the other states. And we said, well, if we don't get these tax credits, the industry is going to leave. And I'm sad to say that we did the tax credits, but we didn't do it in a way that could keep up. And while we were doing tax credits here, the other states rushed and built a tax credit system that was much more responsive to the industry. And I know all of us have friends who leave the state and go away for long periods of time in production. These are jobs that have to stay here. After we did the tax credit, I was excited to be on a movie set at Sony. And everybody there said the reason they were on that set and the reason they were able to make that movie was because of the tax credits. So this is important to me. It is the foundation of our economy here and to our state. We cannot continue to take the industry for granted. And it's also personal to me. My brother, my mother, my grandmother, almost 100 years ago, was involved in the industry, either directly in the industry or running an ancillary business. Oftentimes, we don't think of all of the businesses that are not on a studio, doesn't involve celebrities, might be a tailor, might be a florist, all the different types of businesses that are completely dependent on the industry. And after going through the three shocks of one, a pandemic, the other, a strike, and now the wildfires, just think about those three blows that people in the industry have taken personally. Losing their home, losing their job, it's just been too much. And so to revitalize the industry, to encourage production here, and for goodness sake, for Los Angeles and California to keep up with the rest of the nation, I don't want to stand here 5 years from now and reminisce about an industry that has left us. So I am very proud of what is going on in the state legislature. I look forward to continuing to champion the tax credit. And with that, I would like to introduce Alex Aguilar, Business Manager and Secretary Treasurer of LIUNA Local 724. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Listen, I'm going to take it home. I'm going to take it all the way back here. My name's Alex, obviously. I've been in labor for 30 years. 30 years I've been working in this industry. My father worked in this industry for 40 years. He's soon to retire this year. With that said, I'm not the only one who's second generation, third generation. We have a lot of Angelenos who have been working in this industry for a long time. You know, I'm going to tell a quick little story because I like to tell stories. We had a call a few weeks ago from a member who hasn't worked in 2 years. 2 years. This young man's been paying dues for 2 years to our local. And he called me and he said, Mr. Aguilar, which was very respectful of him, he says, how much longer should I keep paying my dues? And I was honest with him. I said, you know what? If you're not working by May or June, then you should probably look for another career. Those are the kind of conversations that not only I, but the rest of my colleagues here who represent working people in LA and in California, those are the calls that we take every day, every week. Sometimes it's 3, 4, 5 a day. Sometimes it's 1 a week, and that's a good week. But imagine, these people are not just our members. Some of them are family members. Some of them, I grew up with some of these folks in the industry. I started in this industry at 18 years old. I'm 47 years old now. So talking to some of these folks who I've known, who I consider family, who I know their kids, their wives, and this is the conversations that we have to have weekly. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So I stand here today sharing this story because I want you to know what these bills are about. This is not about corporate loanouts. This is not about giving handouts. This is about protecting working people in California. It's not just Los Angeles, it's California. We have many people who are losing homes, leaving the state. Why? To look for other industries. They no longer believe that there is a future in the entertainment industry. And you know, that's pretty depressing to hear and to have to explain this, right? So I ask you guys, everybody watching today, to support this, because this is important. This is important to working families, to all communities, not just communities of color. It's every community in Los Angeles and in California that depend on this industry. It's not just one. And that's why I urge everybody here today and watching to continue to support the industry, because we all have someone who works in this industry, whether it be a neighbor, a friend, just someone. We all know that one person who is struggling right now to pay their bills and feed their families. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I know it's not a happy moment, but that is the truth. That is the state that we're in right now. So thank you. I thank all my colleagues. I thank Assemblymember Zbur for having me here and speaking. So thank you. And now I'd like to introduce, I got to get this right, Jody Long, SAG-AFTRA National Vice President and Los Angeles and President of the LA Local. Jody Long.
Hello, yes, I am Jody Long, the SAG-AFTRA National President of Los Angeles and Vice President and the Los Angeles Local President. And I, too, am a second-generation actor, as my father and my mother were also in the business. Today, I am here to express my gratitude for Senator Allen's and Assemblyman Zbur and Bryan's commitment to protecting the entertainment community that employs countless people in this state. This is especially important in the wake of the recent Los Angeles wildfires. Our industry is responsible for sustaining hundreds of local businesses of restaurants, retail stores, drivers, hotel workers, service workers, not to mention the thousands of small businesses and individuals that make their livelihoods directly from film and television production. In addition to the writers, directors, producers, casting agents, production crews, costume designers, the arts and crafts, visual effects artists, and of course, our members. I myself, over the past few years, have been cast in jobs outside of Los Angeles, going out to locations in states that offer more competitive production tax incentives than they do here in California. We have a long history here, and it is imperative we keep Hollywood in California by passing the common sense legislation our state so desperately needs to help our entertainment industry and our economy stay alive and flourish. So, thank you. Oh, sorry. I am going to introduce Meredith Steinem, WGA West President. Hi.
Hi. My name is Meredith Steam. I'm the president of the Writers Guild of America West. Here to join with our fellow unions, colleagues, and elected leaders to support an expanded film and TV tax credit for California, which is vital for our industry, our jobs, our economy. The entertainment industry is a critical part of this state's economy, with generations of Californians working good union jobs that we have all fought for. But states and countries all over the world are doing everything they can to lure productions away from California, and it's working. When I started out in the television business, writers were able to write and produce their shows here in LA, alongside experienced hometown cast and crew with huge benefits to the local economy. That is much rarer now. Showrunners like me are now being told you can shoot in New York, Georgia, Illinois, New Mexico, Vancouver, Budapest. I'm not kidding, overseas, but you cannot shoot in California. It is too expensive. Those are the conversations that are happening every day. It's past time to reverse this trend. California's incentive program has to be more competitive to keep the jobs here. Writers stand in support of these necessary increases to our state's film and TV tax credit program. Thank you. And I'm now going to introduce Tom Davis, former IATSE Local 80 leader.
Good afternoon. As you were told, my name is Tom Davis. I'm president of the California IATSE Council. We are a statewide organization made up of over 50,000 members of the IATSE across the state of California. We're also one of the founding unions of the Entertainment Union Coalition. I'd like to make a couple of heartfelt acknowledgments to Assembly Member Rick Zbur, Isaac Bryan, and Senator Ben Allen. Thank you for this legislation. There's no secret that California is lagging behind the other states. And again, on behalf of all the members of the IATSE, I thank you for bringing this forward. I also want to say thank you to Governor Newsom. Thank you for recognizing the importance of the jobs that are created by this program and how the expansion of the program will not only revive the industry, but also the good middle-class jobs that support it. I would like to also add that we're also going to aid in the recovery of the recent losses caused by the devastating fires that we've recently seen. Over the last few years, we've seen a loss of over 17,000 full-time equivalent jobs. Let that sink in for a second. 17,000 jobs have been lost over the last couple of years because of the competition from the other states. The governor's proposal, supported by the legislation, to expand the film and television tax credit program can reverse this trend and restore California to its rightful place as a leader in the industry and the home of motion picture and television production. The fact that this program is the only one of its kind in California should not be understated. It aligns with the values of California, a program aimed directly at creating more jobs, a positive return on investment, and it creates a pathway for those who wish to enter into the industry. It tracks and supports responsible business, and again, most importantly, provides the kind of jobs that allows families to thrive here in the state of California, and I thank you. With that, I would like to introduce Angel. I'm going to bastardize this to no end. There you go. By the way, a fellow grip. So, Angel, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angel Isarraz. I grew up in Compton, California, and had a very dysfunctional lifestyle. My childhood consisted of a lot of trauma and neglect, which led me to join a gang at the age of 12 and looking for love in all the wrong places. By the time I was 17, I was sentenced to life in prison for a horrible decision that I regret to this day. After 14 years in prison, Governor Jerry Brown saw my change and commuted my sentence. I was able to come home at the age of 32 years old. I had never lived in the real world since the age of 17. So for me, it was very overwhelming and stressful to come into a new world that I had no idea of. The world looked different. I was terrified that people would judge me and I would never be able to get a job or a career. My mentor and brother, Scott Budnick, who founded the Anti-Recidivism Coalition and was a producer in the film business, told me that the film industry wouldn't judge me as long as I showed up early, worked hard, and had an attitude of gratitude. ARC has a long partnership with Hollywood CPR, so within a month of coming home, I enrolled in the program, took a year of classes, and found myself getting hired as a trainee for Let's Make a Deal and The Price is Right game show. I then got an amazing call for an internship on the Mandalorian Star Wars movie. I worked on this for several months, and it taught me more than I could ever imagine. I got my hours for the union on The Mandalorian, and just 2 months ago, became an official member of the Local 80. Although that was an amazing experience, The Mandalorian decided to relocate filming to London for financial reasons. So me, my peers, and hundreds of crew members lost their jobs, hundreds of jobs. Hollywood CPR has had a partnership with Lucasfilms for 4 years. So now that entire pipeline is gone. As a new union member, I've currently been looking for work since December. I haven't given up at all. And with the promise of these new bills and the governor's budget proposal, it encourages me and gives me hope that things will change soon in California. I spend my days helping the youth and others tutoring younger students that are embarking on their journey in the Hollywood CPR program. To be in front of you all today is nothing short of grace. It's a surreal moment for me because I know that I'm standing here today not just representing myself, but so many of my brothers and sisters in the union and still fighting to come home. I thank you all for giving me a platform to tell my story today and for being a business that believes in redemption and second chances. Thank you.
Next, we have Alexandra Petchman and Sarah Adiana Smith, writers, directors, and co-founders of Stay in LA.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Alexandra Peckman. I'm a screenwriter and merging director. I'm one of the co-founders of Stay in LA. We launched our petition in the wake of the fires at stayinla.org less than about a month ago, and have seen over 21,000 signatures. And what this tells us is people in Los Angeles, whether they work in entertainment or not, want to bring production back to LA and understand that that's what brings jobs back to LA. This is part of how we rebuild after these fires.
I'm Sarah Adina Smith, writer-director, co-founder of Stay in LA. And for us, the fires were really the last straw. We are sounding the alarm as loudly as we can, that if we don't act now, we risk losing our vibrant, creative community forever. So we are thrilled to be here today to celebrate lawmakers and leaders who are raising their voices on behalf of working class Los Angeles and on behalf of middle class Los Angeles, on behalf of cast, crew, but also countless small businesses who suffer when productions move out of state and overseas. And with that, I'm very happy to introduce Pam Alia, the Vice President of History for Hire.
Thank you, ladies. Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and a shout out to all the small businesses watching right now. History for Hire, which is a company my husband and I started 40 years ago, is a family-owned prop house in North Hollywood. If you saw Titanic or Forrest Gump or Platoon, Oppenheimer, La La Land, or A Complete Unknown, 6888, or have you ever seen a Lady Gaga video or a Taylor Swift video? That's what we do, and that's what all our small businesses do. I think I'm probably one of the few small businesses here right now. Probably most of them are live streaming, because you small businesses know you can't leave your office. You had to let your staff go, or else you're working for no money so that you can keep your staff employed. And every day is just a heartbreak. 5 years ago, our rent took about 20% of our income. Now it takes 60% of our income. Your two most expensive, largest expenses in a small business is your labor and it is your rent. And you have to take it from somewhere, and you can't negotiate your rent, so you take it from your labor. And it is heartbreaking, because you know if you lay off someone at your office, there's not another job for them to go to. They can't go work at another prop house because they're laying off too. So today, I'm here also representing the 250 small business owners who are members of the Set Decorators Society of America. And we are an organization that is all over America. We certainly have businesses in Georgia and in New York and New Jersey. And the problem we're going through in California is not unique just to California. We are losing an incredible amount of work overseas. The biggest show that I'm working on right now is in Australia. The second biggest show I'm working on right now is in New Zealand. You know, when you run a small business, you kind of ask yourself when you're looking at your books, at what time is the sum of the parts of your business worth more than the sum of your whole? When is your inventory more valuable than your business yourself? And do I stay or do I go? I have 6 months left on my lease. I would love to stay here. If California is committed to leveling the playing field and to make things equitable between us and other states, I can do this. I can run these plays. I've been doing it for 40 years. And we, as small businesses, are extremely supportive of each other. So I am so grateful to have this conversation with everybody right now. And I do understand that as small businesses, we are your communities. We are your brick and mortar. We are the ones who sponsor your Little League teams. We are the ones who give you things for your raffles. We are the ones who shop at your local stores. We want nothing more than to have a vibrant business again in California. Thank you so much. And I'm going to announce Assemblymember Nick Schultz. Woo-hoo, shout out for Nick.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be with you all, and I want to thank my colleagues, everybody up here, and especially my Senate and Assembly colleagues for spearheading this effort and for inviting me to be part of what I think is probably one of the most critical issues that the state legislature and the governor's office is going to tackle this year. I don't have too much to add to the incredible stories you've already heard from those who've come up here and shared, but I want to mention one thing about the 44th District, which I'm proud to represent. The 44th Assembly District runs from North Glendale to Sunland to Hunga, and then into the San Fernando Valley as far west as Sherman Oaks. We are proudly billed as the entertainment capital of the world. We're home to big production studios like Warner Brothers and Disney, but in fact, we're home to over 1,000 entertainment production facilities that call the 44th home. And we are home to thousands of Californians that educate and inspire the globe with the stories that we tell through this form of media. And I'm here to say that you heard from Angel up here and told his story about breaking into the industry. To all of you who are watching, if you care, if you believe in redemption, if you believe in second chances, this is a program that we have to fight to expand. We have to keep production here in the state of California. And Alex, one thing you mentioned, I've got a lot of calls from constituents over the last 2 years, both when I was campaigning and now new in office. I have walked from North Glendale to Sunland to Hunga to Sherman Oaks, and I keep hearing a tragic story that I want to elevate today, because for the people that are telling the stories that we consume around the globe, I don't think we're telling their story nearly enough. I keep hearing from folks, from set designers to grips to actors, that they've just been trying to survive until 25. That is not acceptable, not in one of the world's largest economies. The reality is that they've been pleading for help for so long. So to all of you who are watching, who have called any of our offices, who've reached out to my office, my message to you, our message to you is simple. We hear you. We value your work, and we are going to keep entertainment production right here in California where it's home and where it belongs. So with that, thank you. And one more thing, if I might ask, if you're watching this and you don't live in one of our districts, please, we need your help right now. Call your assembly member, call your state senator, implore them to support this program. Get them in touch with our offices, because if you care about protecting the middle class, if you care about second chances, I expect you to vote for these bills, both of these, which I'm proud to co-author. And with that, I am proud to introduce my friend and colleague, Assemblymember John Harabidian.
Thank you, Assemblymember Schultz. I'm about ready to run through a brick wall right now. I am fired up from Mr. Schultz, and I appreciate everything you just said. Thank you to Senator Allen, Assemblymember Zebur, Assemblymember Bryan for bringing this forward. I have the privilege of representing AD 41, which is the home of the Eaton Fire, and I will tell you, Senator Allen represents the home of the Palisades Fire. There is devastation, folks that have lost their homes, their communities, and I'll tell you, it's insult to injury to have those thousands of those people watch their jobs go overseas to Georgia, to Texas, to Nevada. I will tell you, lifelong Californian, lifelong Angelino, we don't lose to Georgia. We don't lose to Texas. We don't lose to Nevada. And we're not going to allow it. So all I'll say is we are in a new golden era of Hollywood. It is synonymous with California, with Los Angeles. This is a time to step up and make sure that these jobs are promoted, that they stay here, and that we provide some relief for folks that are looking for hope in a very devastating time. So it's my honor to co-author these bills, to push it through our legislature, and to do everything that we can to support anyone here who is affected and works in this industry. It is my pleasure to introduce Rebecca Ryan, the President of Entertainment Union Coalition and Associate National Executive Director and Western Regional Director of the Directors Guild of America. Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. As he said, I'm Rebecca Ryan with the Directors Guild of America, but today I'm speaking as President of the Entertainment Union Coalition on behalf of the 165,000 working members throughout California that are members of the coalition. We, of course, support this increase in resources for a program that, at its core, as its core priority, requires the creation of middle-class jobs in an industry that brings value to the entire state. At this moment, more than any other, when unelected anti-union billionaires are destroying working-class families by eliminating jobs and programs, we should all be proud that California is willing to allocate resources for those same families. This program embodies California values: good jobs with health care, retirement with dignity, enhanced workplace safety, and access and opportunity for all residents. We thank Governor Newsom, Assembly Members Burr and Bryan, and Senator Allen for their leadership. When our industry thrives, California thrives. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Lindsay Doherty.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lindsay Doherty. I'm the principal officer of Teamsters Local 399 here in Hollywood, California. I'm also an international vice president for the Teamsters. And I'm here today on behalf of my 6,000 hardworking Californian Teamsters, as well as hundreds of thousands of industry workers and local and statewide businesses that survive and thrive by way of a vibrant film and television industry throughout our state. As you've already heard, things are not so great here in Hollywood for the community, for the workforce, and that's just not Hollywood or the Los Angeles city recently devastated by the fires, but this has more to do with the disappearing nature of our lucrative and staple industry throughout our state. If there was an alarm bell, we would be ringing it right now. And if you talk to our members, they're no longer shouting from the mountaintops, they are screaming at everybody to help them. For hundreds of years, California has been the home and heart of the film and entertainment industry, an industry that has helped shape and support our state as the 5th largest economy in the world. However, our lack of competitiveness in the national and global market continues to lure productions and jobs out of state. The workforce here is bar none. I'm sure everyone here could agree. Highly skilled, safety trained,
and motivated to work to bring production to life. Without the support and expansion of our film and television program throughout the state, we stand to lose middle-class jobs, mom and pop shops, local businesses, and will take a significant hit to our state economy. Keeping California competitive should not be up for debate at all. I want to thank Senator Allen, Assembly Members Zebur and Bryan for taking up this cause. I also want to thank our governor for having the foresight of knowing that we need additional funding for this jobs program. And we, the unions and the guilds, obviously support this. Our members support this. But we urge the studios and executives to commit to invest back into the communities across our state, which put them on this map. Thank you very much. Let's keep California rolling. Now, I would like to introduce to you all someone from one of our small businesses here in Hollywood. He's the general manager of Sammy's Camera, and his name is Benjamin Carter Grimes. Thank you.
Hey folks, I'm here on my lunch break today. I work at Sammy's Camera just up the street. We have an incredible job at Sammy's Camera. We live in the entertainment capital of the world, and we sell the tools that people need to make their artistry. I love my job, so do my coworkers. They're hardworking, technical experts that are passionate about what we do. It's an honor to be here today, and I think this is an imperative initiative. The erosion that we've seen, we're tethered to this on the retail side of the business and the rental side of the business. We need something to change. Our camera store is a social hub. We have filmmakers that are normally running through, grabbing their rentals, grabbing the equipment they need for their job, and now they're just here to be around their community and talk about what's happening. With the fires, with the lack of work going elsewhere, it's a tough time for our customers. We're tethered to that, and we need this change. We need this help. Thank you so much. So, Ali Javid, co-founder and CEO of Rapbook.
Hi, my name is Ali Javid. I'm the CEO of Rapbook. We process payroll for 210,000 cast and crew members. What's happening in California is devastating, and I'm here on behalf of 40 companies as a part of the California Production Coalition. These companies, like Sammy's Camera, they're impacted. The cast and crew members in California are impacted. This is about jobs. This is about an industry that might not be in California in the future unless we act. That is why I, on behalf of the coalition, I'm really proud to support these two bills. We have to push these two bills forward so that California is competitive with the global market. It's no longer competitive. We need these bills to pass to be competitive, and I really thank you for your attention and pushing these forward. I want to welcome Assemblymember Zebur back.
We have one more speaker. We're really graced today to have a special person with us, so I'd like to ask him to come to the podium.
My name is Jason George, and as Jolie mentioned earlier, I'm her co-chair of the National Government and Public Policy Committee. I want to thank all the elected officials for coming out today. I want to thank all the small business owners, all of our fellow colleagues in the unions. I'll just share a couple of thoughts for myself. If you look at nature, ecosystems break down and then they can't grow back. We believe that it's here, the entertainment industry belongs here, it will always be here. That's not the case. It's a mining town. Los Angeles is a mining town, and unfortunately for us, the thing we mine is a renewable resource. Imagination, film, we create things. If we let it break down, 15 years ago I was in Georgia doing a talk show, shooting a national talk show in Georgia. As the sound guy was putting a microphone on me, I looked at him and realized we'd worked together on a sitcom a decade before that. I said, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Had to follow the work." That was 12 years ago. Today, I want to underscore one last point. So many beautiful points have been made today. Tourism. When you think of California, when you think of Los Angeles, you think of Hollywood. It is the #1 draw for people to come here to see Hollywood, Walk of Fame, studios, all the amusement parks that are based off of the IP that was created by our industry. And then they go to the beach. Then they hit the redwoods. Then they start digging into the rich history that is California. If this is a draw and we lose it because we think we can't lose it, when that ecosystem breaks down, it won't grow back. And we will begin to lose the other thing that really drives this massive economy of ours, tourism. So I know I took my kids to the Harry Potter tour in London, and it rivals anything that we've done here. We got to keep this going, y'all. We can't let it break down. Again, I just want to thank everybody for being here, and I think if you want to close things up.
So I want to thank Jason for being here. Want to thank the members of the Entertainment Union Coalition for all their hard work. I want to thank Senators Allen and Assemblymember Bryan, Assembly Members Harabedian and Schultz, and we have others who are co-sponsors of this. Those of us who are in the legislature, we know what we need to do. We know how important this is for workers and for families in California that we bring these jobs back. It is our top priority. It's something that we're all working on. Want to thank the folks from the Motion Picture Association, the studios who are here with us today, and then folks from the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. Just want to thank you for joining us. We are aligned in what we know we have to do, and so I just want to thank you and turn this back over to Jolie Fischel.
Thank you. Thank you for spending your afternoon here on hallowed ground. It was quite a long program, and I double dog dare anyone to stand in opposition of this after hearing all of these stories today. Please stand in solidarity and support these bills and let it ring up to Sacramento to hear. And we are going to take a few questions now. There we go.
Has gotten worse. Oh, thank you. Before the revenue picture has gotten worse, and of course before the wildfires. How confident are you that the governor still sees this as a priority for the budget, given all of the other pressures that the state is facing?
Yeah, we know he still sees this as a priority. I was at the Film Commission with Rick just last week, and Dee Dee Myers, the head of GoBiz, was there, talked about how it continues to be a priority. All of those are massive headwinds. But it actually underscores why we need to do this so much, because of all the economic implications at play here. Yes, this is a credit, but we know that it generates tax revenue. We know that it generates economic activity. And if we let this industry die, everything that you talked about is going to get even worse. So the governor knows how important this is. They're still committed to this. They know that we've crafted it in this way that we can sustain, that will also help our economy grow. And it continues to be a priority of his. And I know that because it was a topic at our Film Commission meeting just last week.
The only thing I'll add to that is that there have been studies already that show that for every dollar of the tax credit, $1.07 a return. Those are very conservative estimates. They do not include a lot of the spin-off employment and business that's generated by this program. So I'm confident that this program pays for itself, and I think you can look at what every other state is doing. They are not only keeping their programs in place, they're making them more competitive, and they're growing them. And many states don't even have caps on them, and they don't have caps because they know that what's coming back into state coffers is more than what it's generating. So I'm confident that the governor is 100% behind this, and this is something I think is going to help the state of California immensely.
Any other questions?
Just Melanie? All right. I can always count on you. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here. We really do appreciate your attention, your support for this massively important endeavor. Thank you.